does his own thing. So it obviously sent it to his school. I'm not speaking for the rest.
John and Philip, I think, when Durham moved into Leeds.
Yes. Much more productive. You just need Luke to know when.
Hello, with the railway station in Leeds. It's really chilly, but the sun is trying to get out a little bit. It is just coming up to 9 o'clock on Wednesday the 7th of January 2026. This is my first video of the year, so Happy New Year. By first video of the year, I mean it's the first video I recorded, and it's not so much a new year anymore, as we're now over halfway through 2026. And we are here today because I am doing another wandering day out. I'm starting here because it was too dark to start at Durham, and nowadays I pretty much start all my journeys at Durham, so I thought I'd change it up a little bit. There is the train that I came on here from Durham, 802213, for Trans-Pennine Express, which is off to Manchester Airport. And there is a class 0, class 220. Not sure where that's from, but it's terminating here because of engineering works beyond Leeds towards York. So already I've had a diversionary route between York and Leeds via Castleford, where we didn't stop at but passed through instead. Anyway, the reason we're here today is because we are off to the West Coast Main Line. Not actually riding on the West Coast Main Line itself though, because of, you guessed it, more engineering works. Because as you probably already know, they are replacing Clifton Bridge, which is just near Penrith. There is 195 112 off to Blackpool North, which is a train that I will be on in an hour's time towards Preston. So I'm going to go over to Preston, as I said, from here, and then catch an Avanti West Coast train from Preston to Carlisle via the Settle and Carlisle Line. And it will also be my first ever ride on an Avanti West Coast Class 805. And then I'm going to travel from Carlisle to Newcastle via the Settle and Carlisle Line. No, the Tyne Valley Line, on a northern service, and then I'll probably finish the day in Newcastle or probably back at Durham, depending on how I feel. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this journey out, and I hope everything goes smoothly. Enjoy the video, folks. As we're approaching Preston, we find ourselves racing a Class 390, which incidentally is now the second time I've been on a Class 195 racing a Class 390 in the Preston area. The first time can be found here, which is of course when I went to Blackpool for the day, although that race started as the trains were departing Preston rather than arriving there. And just like the previous time, we'll call the result of this race a draw. Anyway, now that we're at Preston, we will now wait for our train to arrive. Okay, already there's been a bit of a problem. The Avanti West Coast service from Carlisle is delayed by about 40 minutes, so the train isn't due to leave at least for another hour, so already something's gone wrong. It's just great. The train eventually showed up, albeit incredibly late. And as that Transpennine pulls out, look what's coming in. (8:05:003) will be our train today. Go and board it. But then the train had a technical fault, which of course delayed us even more until the service had to be cancelled altogether, and then we returned to the platform. Well, that's my luck of the day disappeared. My train has now been cancelled. Now my only option is to wait for the 14:07 to Carlisle, which means I'm going to get to Carlisle 2 hours later than I wanted to, and I'll be on a train to Newcastle 2 hours later than I wanted to be as well. So off goes 8:05:003, probably to refuel. Eventually, a pair of Class 805s pulled in, which would form the 14:07 service to Carlisle. Okay, time for take 2. A slight advantage of the previous train being cancelled is that I was on a double set to Carlisle, whereas the previous service would have just used a single set. Anyway, we soon departed on our long journey to Carlisle.
Stops for another 2 hours 20 minutes, so please sit down, relax and enjoy the scenery. Thank you.
right, Lord, just sit to ahead. There's nothing. It is.
Could the train manager please answer the next group call?
We were soon on the Settle and Carlisle line itself, which is of course where the real beautiful scenery is. We soon arrived in Carlisle, where I discovered another problem. Okay, we're now finally at Carlisle, but my next train to Newcastle is delayed by about 20 minutes, I think. Actually, 27 minutes. So, as if nothing else could go wrong. I should have been here when it was still daylight, but now it's nearly dark. Actually, it is already dark, but that's a typical January night for you. So, not exactly my day today, is it? And I'm not really going to film much on the way back to Newcastle, because there's nothing really much to see at this time of night. Well, there is, but you're not going to be able to see it very well. And then I'll just end it at Newcastle. Oh, for context, 805010 and 805004 were the units from Preston to Carlisle today. After another ridiculously long wait for a train, our Northern Class 158 finally turned up. Okay, it is finally here. 158859 I have today.
Welcome aboard this Northern Train 2.
Middlesbrough. The next station stop is Newcastle.
We were soon arriving into Newcastle, and even though I said I'd finish the video here, I had to end to Durham as I had a tight connection. Okay, we'll get this train back to Durham and I'll finish my journey there, where I normally finish. Okay, we're now back at Durham Station. It was an amazing day out today, despite all the major setbacks. But it was great going on the Settle and Carlisle Line again for the first time in ages, and getting my first ride on a Class 805 for Avanti West Coast as well. So that was really, really nice. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my first video of 2026. If you did, you know the drill. Please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.